Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Funko ReAction figures of the Rocketeer. This 3 3/4 inch fully posable action figure comes to us again from the ReAction line, where it's very simplistic figures designed as if they were something that we would be getting back in the yesteryear, like the 80s, the 70s, the 80s. The Rocketeer comes included with a helmet and rocket pack. And actually, Spot, though unfortunately I was not able to get these in local retail, I did get them over from Big Bad Toy Store. Also, you can see too, it's never been hung. It's pristine. For what it is though, Spot's still going to open it, but a really phenomenal card. So I'm going to provide the link down below if you don't have a chance to pick these up yourself, because again, you might not be able to find them local retail. You can order yours as well from Big Bad Toy Store. As it goes though, for packaging, phenomenal packaging, and really something that is consistent so far from what I'm seeing from Funko's ReAction line. Not only are we getting retro design figures that are designed now, but again looking like they came out back in the day, but the cards look so awesome. Now I believe this is just the straight out artwork from the original Rocketeer poster, and let me tell you, let me just go off and say that Rocketeer probably could be one of my favorite movies of all time. I absolutely loved this movie. I was mad crazy about this movie. How mad crazy? When this poster came out, I remember doodling this, whatever age I would have been at the time that this was first coming out. But I remember doodling this poster. I remember even having like a G.I. Joe, and this is how crazy I was about Rocketeer. I had a G.I. Joe, and I don't remember what it was that green vehicle that had the propeller on the back. It was like it wasn't the Mudbuster, but it came with a pilot guy, and I actually took his body. I crafted like a Rocketeer helmet out of a Laser Viper's helmet. I made a jetpack. I mean, I went all out. That was, again, how crazy I was for Rocketeer. So this is probably, so far, one of my favorite ReAction figures coming to us from Funko. On the back, some nice artwork of Bill Connolly. I think Bill Connolly was in the Rocketeer. And as well showing you how to add the backpack. Insert backpack tab into hole on back of figure. Place helmet overhead, and your Rocketeer figure is ready for adventure. Relive the exciting action of the Rocketeer with authentically detailed ReAction figures. For more information, you head over to www.disney.com, but you can also head over to facebook.com/Original Funko, Twitter @Original Funko, or you can also just head over to Funko as well. Again, Spot is super excited about getting this opened up. I can't wait to see this in hand. I mean, it looks cool now, but to get this in hand, I am super excited. I hope you guys are excited too. Spot's going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Funko ReAction figures of the Rocketeer. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Out of packaging, your contents will include, of course, the Rocketeer on his own. He comes with his backpack, which I'll show you in a second, and of course his iconic Rocketeer helmet. Before we actually get all to that, let's have a look at the figure itself. Though, actually, you know, the one thing that he didn't come with, which I'm kind of disappointed with, he didn't come with a little firearm, like a little pistol that you could put in his hand. His hands are open, though sadly, again, he didn't come with a pistol. As it goes for, now again, this may not be everybody's cup of tea. Spot acknowledges the fact that this may not be for everybody, but the thing with the ReAction figures is this is geared towards the people that maybe have grown up in the 80s that collected vintage figures. And if you collected vintage figures, we're talking like the likes of like Mask, of course the original Star Wars figures, you know, the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves figures, really anything along those lines. Likeness wise, they weren't always there. And they usually had just straight swiveled arms, swiveled legs, swivel in the head as well. The Rocketeer here is exactly the same fashion. It's just a straight swiveled head, just rotates all the way around. Arms rotate all the way around, and the legs go back and forth. You are correct. He does also have peg holes on the undersides of his feet. Though he doesn't come with a display base, I'm sure if you found a display base, could easily just peg that into place. His head is a little long, I would say. Probably to be catering for the helmet, which we'll eventually get onto him. It might be a little too big of a head, but realistically, who is ever going to display this figure without the helmet? I mean, really, come on. Come on, you're going to display him with the helmet. Is it a good likeness to the Rocketeer? Again, it's not bad. If you saw Spot's reviews of the ReAction Alien figures, again, the same idea. You kind of have to look at them with rose-colored glasses. You're not going to be getting an absolute perfect likeness of the figure, and that's not the whole point of this line. With the upcoming other figures that they're going to be releasing, they're going to be doing Terminator figures, and again, all of those figures are geared towards the fans out there that love the vintage style look. So for a vintage figure, I could possibly pull this out of my collection, let's say 10 years from now, 15 years from now, if I hopefully still have this figure. And I would not be able to tell, I guess there would be a date on the underside there. There would be a date. But I mean, looking at the figure, I would start immediately asking myself, did they come out with a figure line from the Rocketeer back in the day? And the answer is no, they didn't. But that goes to show the level of detail and accuracy to a retro line that Funko is producing so well. So on the back of the figure, there is a larger peg and a smaller peg, which accommodates the larger and smaller peg on the backpack. So at least you know which way it's going to go. You're not going to put it down, or not going to put it on the figure incorrectly. Before we actually put that on the figure, let's just have a look at the backpack. The jetpack looks, again, as a very retro design of the backpack in the movie. Right down to the fact, right there, the little wad of chewing gum, they even put that on the knapsack, the jetpack as well. But really a nice piece. We can take that, and again, lining up the large and small peg holes, we're just going to snap that onto the figure, and it's going to stay on there really well. And there you have part of the Rocketeer. The other part of the Rocketeer also comes from, well, the main part comes from his helmet. And again, it's a lot better than what I did when I was younger. And again, keep in mind, I mean, I had I think it was, again, a Laser Viper helmet. I think I might have turned it around backwards. I painted it gold. I had a piece of plastic. I just kind of crafted into the sail of the helmet. And then I think I might have just, I don't know if I took electrical tape or I just used black paint or a marker and I just colored in the face and whatnot. Very crude. This helmet is definitely a lot better. It's a soft rubber. So even if you could use it for, obviously, the Rocketeer, I'll put it on in a second. But what I'm also thinking too, if you had yourself a Marvel Legends figure, or if you had like a G.I. Joe, you could really use these two pieces and make your own Rocketeer figure out of them. I mean, that would defeat the point because, you're wanting to put this on the retro design figure, but it goes to show, though, I mean, these pieces still hold up very well that you could put them on a fully articulated figure if you really want a fully articulated 3 3/4 inch Rocketeer. But let's put the pieces on. Let's put the backpack back on the Rocketeer here. And take the helmet, put that on top of his head. And I think, does it really actually go on super? And it's a little bit of friction to keep it on. I mean, it's not as on as I thought it would be. It still stays on. It has the blizzard test, it doesn't fall off. There you have the Rocketeer. Proportionately, his head, the helmet, is maybe, again, a little too big. But if, again, I'm looking at this, I'm looking with my peepers at this, and I'm looking at this as a retro figure. I still think as if it was a retro figure, his head might have still been smaller. His helmet would have been maybe smaller. We might not have even had a removable helmet. But it's neat. It is still a neat looking toy. Things that could probably have been improved, despite the fact this is still a ReAction figure. Would have been nice if he had maybe just a little handgun that he could have held. And I feel, again, like his helmet could have just been a little bit smaller. But still all the makings of a fantastic looking figure. The Rocketeer from the ReAction line, I'm going to give him a 7.5. This is an absolute love letter to myself. If I could only have taken this figure, packaged them all up, I don't know what it would cost for shipping, to ship to myself back in time, I definitely would be shipping UPS. That would cost me a fortune. But if I could only package him up and ship this to myself when I was, let's say, 7, 8, whenever the movie actually would have come out. But I would have loved this as a kid. Absolutely loved it. I love it now. I certainly would have loved it as a child as well. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Funko, the Rocketeer ReAction figure. Thanks for watching, guys, as you always do. Certainly stay tuned. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.